One of the joys of being an Elestrals player is just how open the company is with information. Now, often this is just information that is helpful to you as a player and a consumer and a supporter of the company. However, sometimes that information is giving us insights into upcoming products. Such as in July Shattered Stars, we have Babloon, Champion of Aphrodite, more or less confirming that Aphrodite is going to be one of the featured divines of the upcoming set, which is very interesting. Now, there's a lot more information circulating around that can help us get an insight into what's coming, and today we're going to do some detective work and figure out some of what is coming down the Elestral pipe. So let's start digging in. Let's start digging in by going backwards. Way before we knew what Firestorm was, we saw this Flammoth playtester map, which was unremarkable at the time. It just looked like a cool art of Flammoth. But once we knew Firestorm, there were several interesting things about it. Firstly, right here, we have the set symbol for Firestorm on the playtester's map. Secondly, although Flammoth was an Elestral we already knew, we didn't know we were getting a new Flammoth in Firestorm. This is interesting for a couple of reasons. One, that Flammoth is wind and fire, the two featured elements in Firestorm, and the two divines we got, Hermes and Hestia here. So it was really easy to suss out in advance what this set was going to be if we knew how to look forward. Now, we could have also understood Hestia was coming and that their feature champion was going to be Majursa, because that information was already on Collect actually. Majursa had the following lore entry that said it is the chosen Elestral of Hestia, the fire goddess. And it has some fun stuff about it and its cubs. But the most important part here is that Hestia, its relation to Majursa, and it being the fire goddess was all information we could have gotten from Collect in advance. So, now that we know what we could have followed in the past, let's try to follow the same trails going into the future. The playtester map for the next set has already popped up, and it features the boy, the bog, the Barabog, which means we're going to have this set symbol almost certainly, and Barabog is a earth, water, Elestral, which means earth and water are almost certainly the featured elements for the next sets. Now, the water half of this is almost certainly confirmed with Aphrodite, but we have the earth part we can theorize about. And I'll tell you right now, we probably already know the earth divine we're getting. Now, again, using Collect, we could have known Aphrodite was in the pipes. Locagon has the following lore entry on Collect. For many years, Locagon were believed to be myths, spotted only when heavy fogs descended on certain lakes. The goddess Aphrodite confirmed their existence when she selected a Locagon as her champion. Perhaps the goddess of love chose Locagon because they mate for life. So we not only know that Aphrodite is coming, we know that chances are their feature champion is going to be Locagon. So who else is hyped for Locagon, Champion of Aphrodite, and Dratagua, Champion of Aphrodite? There's going to be some really interesting stuff there, I think. We don't know what yet, but it's almost certainly coming. But I said we probably know the Earth Divine that is coming. Who is that Earth Divine, you might ask? Well, it's Dionysus. Sproutier has the following lore entry. Champions of Dionysus, Sproutier are playful, fun-loving Elestrals who inhabit the forest glades. So, it seems like Dionysus is going to be the Earth Divine, and their primary champion line is going to be the Sproutier Centaur line. So, we're going to get our Centaur Champion of Dionysus. It seems pretty likely. So, that's very interesting. So, to summarize, next set, water, Locagon, Aphrodite, earth, Dionysus, Centaur. That's all very cool stuff. We have another divine that shows up on lore entries, though. We have Quackle, who says a favorite of novice Thundercasters, Quackle is quirky and cuddly, one of the chosen Elestrals of Hera, It senses thunderstorms from leagues away to warn towns and villages. So we don't know yet what set Hera is most likely going to show up in, but there's only a 50-50. There's 2 other sets after the upcoming, currently unnamed one that's probably Earth Water. But Hera is almost certainly going to be our Thunder Divine, and they are going to have a Quackle and Feral line of champions, it seems like. So Hera's in the books. That sounds really exciting. Looking at information Elestrals has shared previously, though, not just collect entries, originally Frostfall was supposed to have Hades, and Hades was going to be related to Trifernal. They showed off some of the cool work-in-progress designs for Hades. Now, this is really interesting because we already got our second Fire Divine. So this means one of 2 things. One, Hades is scrapped for now and might get returned to in, say, the 3rd arc of Divines. Maybe Hades and Trifernal Champion of Hades will show up later. The other option is they did an element swap. My vote is that Hades is going to actually be the Lunar Divine we eventually get. And it's entirely possible Trifernal will still be their champion, but perhaps just the same way that we have Hermes, who features earth elements to help them out with Spinosect and Spynymph, champions of Hermes. Hades is going to have a relation to both fire and lunar, and maybe we get a Trifernal that is special, and Trifernal champion of Hades is like 2 fire, 1 lunar, or something like that. That could be a really interesting way to go with it. There's not a collect entry for Hades, so it's not as well confirmed as some of the other ones we were looking at there. Now, assuming we take the thunder, earth, and water information as gospel, that those are going to happen, what that does is that leaves us with 3 unknown elements. We have lunar. My vote is on Hades for lunar, but we'll have to see. We also have frost and solar. So what are your hopes for these 3 remaining elements? Are there divines you really hope to see show up in one of these 3 slots? And heck, ignoring the information that seems to confirm some of the upcoming divines, what are divines you want in other elements, regardless of how likely it seems? If you liked this video, consider subscribing. If you want to keep having fun and watching more, YouTube thinks you'll like this video over here. I always appreciate your support. I hope to see you in the comments or in a future video. Have a good one.